Rumble on the River is next. We are at Jim Carroll Stadium here in Savannah, Tennessee, in the heart of Hardin County. The national championship here of NAIA Division II football brought to you by Team Hardin County. Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff Bowen, along with Robert Langpapp and Pat McGuire. We've got ourselves a great football game coming your way today. A couple of great football teams between the Western Washington Vikings and Sioux Falls. The Cougars in Sioux Falls is an awesome football team, Robert.
Probably the most prolific team in the history of the NAIA. Their quarterback, Curtis Riggs, is one touchdown away from setting an NAIA mark of 81 TDs, and they have a lot of weapons they'll go to early and often. If Western Washington aspires to win a national championship today, they're going to do it with defense.
That's a good thing that Western Washington is good at. That is defense, Pat McGuire.
That's right. Defensively, they only give up 13.4 points a game, and they only score 28.8 points a game. Now, the big difference between these two teams is Sioux Falls likes to strike fast and strike with the big play, where Western Washington is much more of a sustained drive type team. They like to control the ball, they like to run a lot, but they also pass as well. But they do need to get some pressure on Riggs. We talked with Coach Rob Smith about that earlier in the week. He says that's going to be the key if the defense can get some put some pressure on the quarterback.
So it'll be a low-scoring game, could be high. Stay with us. The game is up next. Championship, and I tell you what, I have been looking forward to this football game for a couple of weeks, but especially when I found out the two teams that were playing today. Robert, I tell you what, you can't get a more exciting football game for a national championship anywhere.
That's exactly right, Jeff. Two teams different in character, but one thing remains the same. They have the heart of a champion, and they're going to show it to the nation and parts of the world this afternoon in Tennessee.
You know, Robert and Jeff, we talked before down a few minutes ago about the style of these two teams, but and you mentioned the difference in character, though. Western Washington comes from a conference that has just been heavily involved in the NAIA for years. Western Washington University has been in a conference that has 6 teams that have been involved in the national championship in the last 6 years.
Well, and that is one of the things that in talking to the coach beforehand, they talked quite extensively about. They feel if they can get through their conference, Western Washington does, that they can beat anybody. Sioux Falls, a team, though, that 11-1 last year, upset in the tournament. They feel it is kind of vindication for them to get back to this point, and they're going to be coming out guns a-blazing, and they have the offense to do it.
They certainly do, Jeff. They've got, they like to put up the big play, throw the ball quick, throw it deep down the field. So the pressure is going to be critical for Western Washington. Get some pressure on that quarterback.
A lot of speed and a lot of throwing ability, but the one thing that I think is the most unique thing about the two teams as we're getting set for the coin toss at midfield is the fact that both teams are very balanced. We do not have a team even though that Western Washington or that Sioux Falls has a lot of touchdowns, 50 touchdowns through the air, they really are very balanced as a football club, running and passing, and that may be what's so scary about a team like Sioux Falls, is that while the thought is about the passing, the running could really come into big play today.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Jeff. You know, I spoke in the open about Curtis Riggs, the big-time passer and the prolific TDs, but they have a running back in Dave Rudder who gained 1,600 yards in the season and also ran for 315 yards in a playoff game against the University of Mary, the same team that knocked them out of the playoffs last season after their first undefeated season.
One thing I'd like to point out, too, though, Robert, is that, you know, we've been talking all about the University of Sioux Falls and how powerful and potent their offense is, but then Western Washington, really, their stats compare pretty close as far as the number of yards that they pass for in each game, as well as the number of yards that they rush for. The only real big difference is the fact that they don't score 50 points a game like the University of Sioux Falls does. They like to sustain those drives, keep the ball under control, and control the clock.
Western Washington will be receiving, and they will be defending the north goal, as Sioux Falls will be getting to play defense first. And, you know, in talking to some of the players beforehand, they think that may be the strong point of their team, Robert.
That's exactly right. In fact, I was talking with the head coach for Western Washington, Rob Smith. He told me if they could get the ball and win the coin toss, which they just did, and could score early, maybe they could plant the seed of doubt in USF's mind that maybe they aren't invincible.
Well, one of the things we're going to get a look at early is Darren Erath, the quarterback at Western Washington, and Mr. Ryan Wiggins, a 5'10", 200-pound junior, who will be handling the running chores, and we'll see how things transpire with that. But I think it's going to be a great football game. Good crowd on hand, as a lot of folks have traveled down from the great Northwest up in Washington, as well as the South Dakota fans here on the near sidelines, where we are just packed out here in Savannah, Tennessee. And I tell you what, Hardin County has really gone overboard for the NAIA. We have got to just tip our hats off to them. Everywhere you look, you see Hardin County logos or NAIA logos. Everyone has made us feel so welcome to be here today.
Yeah, that's exactly right. In fact, they even have state signs when you enter the county, entering Hardin, Tennessee, home of the NAIA National Championship. So that is going a long way to take care of the NAIA, and they certainly have done that.
For Sioux Falls, Ryan Rollinger will be handling the kicking chores. As they get set, they will be kicking off from right to left, the 35-yard line, and back deep. For the Western Washington, Michael Johnson. Had a chance to talk to him yesterday, and he is psyched about being in the national championship. We are about set to kick off, folks. The NAIA Division II National Championship is underway. The kick is short, and it's going to be hit the ground at about the 12-yard, fielded by Johnson. He's looking for a wall to the right side. He's going to be tripped up short of the 20, and that's where Western Washington will take over.
Sioux Falls pretty excited about the coverage on that team. Guys grabbing, jumping each other, high-fiving. They're getting psyched up. They're ready to play some ball today, Robert.
It looks like it, big time. Yeah, the fans from both cities have traveled to Tennessee to cheer on their ball clubs, hoping to bring a title home. The first appearance for both teams in the championship game.
We are set. Single back formation. It's Ryan Wiggins, a 5'10", 200-pound junior, will be set to be the lone back. Under center, it is Darren Erath. Double split outs and throwing the ball on first down. The pass is intended outside for Mario Castillo, and it is incomplete. Will bring up second down and 10, the ball at the 18.
Yeah, Darren Erath with the three-step drop and the quick pass to the flat, a little high. That might have been the adrenaline of the first play. He's a talented athlete in many sports, baseball and basketball as well.
One thing I think they're going to need to do is establish that running game so that way they can open up the pass here early in the game.
Second down and 10. They turn, they pitch the ball out. This time it goes to Wiggins to the left side. Looking for running room, gets across the 20 to the 22-yard line before he's brought down to the far sidelines. Nice pursuit that time by the outside, helped by the linebackers and defensive end on the right side for Sioux Falls.
Yeah, and no sooner than Pat McGuire talked about run, they go for the quick pitch and pick up a nice 4 yards.
And Wiggins did a nice job. He's got good speed, got to the outside quickly there, and it was just a bit of a foot race there, though. Cornerback came up and knocked him out of bounds, so a gain of about 4 yards.
The officials stop the clock now as they're going to reset the chain, or actually look like they're going to have to go back and get a new football. Third down, and calling it 6 to go here in the opening drive. 14-26, just underway in the first quarter. Third down, 6 yards to go. 4 split outs. Dropping back to pass this time. Erath throws across field. It's complete, but it looks like maybe about a yard short of the first down. Fighting for it and continued. I believe that was Nickel as he works his way to the 27, 28-yard line. It's going to be close.
Great. Yeah, that was a nice pop by Damon Olson. I was talking with the SID earlier. He told me he was the leader of the secondary, and he looks to make big hits, and he did it on that play.
Great second effort there by Nickel on that play. Really fighting, kept the legs churning. Didn't want to give up there, even though he got hit a couple of times, couple of guys on him, but he really wanted that first down, so he just muscled as much as he could.
Well, that's it right there, because if Western Washington is to win a national championship today in Tennessee, Chris Nickel is going to have a lot of touches because he is outstanding after the catch.
Also on that play, there was plenty of time for Erath to get the ball off, find the man that he wanted. Good protection by the offensive line.
So we get a look now at the mark on the near sidelines. And going to be short by an inch. So now you've got Coach Rob Smith with a little bit of thinking, and he doesn't think long as he's going to go ahead and punt the football away. The last thing you want to do is give up a possible score or at least field position if you don't complete this, Robert, to a powerful Sioux Falls defense this deep in your own territory.
Yeah, Barry Switzer's nowhere in sight, so they're going to punt the ball, Jeff.
And a good call. So it will be 4th down and about an inch. The ball is just outside the 28-yard line. And it will be kicked away back deep for Sioux Falls is Jason Brown. Brown, a 5'9" senior out of Harrisburg, South Dakota.
You know, Jeff, with only an inch to go, you may look for some kind of a trick play here. They don't have very far to go early in a national championship game. This would be a good opportunity to try something like that.
13:59 to play first quarter, just underway. The NAIA Division II National Championship. Back to kick, Eric Borin. The snap is good, and the kick is up. A little wobbly kick, but hits short and takes a bounce. Picked up by Sioux Falls. The ball's on the turf. It's a fumble. And Sioux Falls, it looks like, is going to be able to fall down on top of it, although there's a pile up, and the ball may have scooted loose underneath. And the officials give the ball to Sioux Falls. So what a break for them right there, as there is 13 minutes and 40 seconds to play here in the first quarter. We will take a timeout and come back. The score 0-0. Sioux Falls now with first possession. Back after this.
And he was unable to field it cleanly, and that's where the problem was. They were fortunate to fall on the ball and get it back for their first possession.
Just for you know, wind out of the south, 15 to 20 miles an hour for a passing team like Sioux Falls. That could come into play. Under center, Curtis Riggs, one of the most prolific passers ever in NAIA history, hands the ball off on the first dive. And the play to David Reuter, it looks like it's going to be for about a half-yard gain just outside the 35-yard line. And it will bring up 2nd down and 9.
You know, Jeff, you look at that backfield with Curtis Riggs and Dave Reuter, it just has to scare defensive coordinators around the country to death. You have a prolific passer and a ball carrier that can run over 300 yards on any given day.
2nd down and long. Dropping back to pass. The lefty looks back. It has a little bit of pressure. Has to scramble. Is going to be brought down after a pickup of only about a yard as he gets outside the 36-yard line. One of the things that Curtis Riggs doesn't want to have to do is scramble today. He's minus 31 yards rushing coming into the ball game, right?
That's exactly right. He runs a 5.1 40, so he's not John Elway by any stretch of the imagination. He is a pocket passer. So if the Vikings can get him out of the pocket, he is an average player. In the pocket, he is deadly.
Also credit the secondary on that for keeping the receivers covered. No place to go with the ball.
Lamar Westbrook into the ball game for David Reuter. Dropping back to pass again as Riggs throws across the middle. It's complete outside to Kalen DeBoer. And he's going to be at about the 43-yard line. Will be about a yard and a half short. Mike Williams on the stop for Western Washington brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, that was a nice read by Curtis, finding his main man, Kalen DeBoer. But I'll tell you something. They have a lot of weapons. They have a tight end, Gardner, who averages 19 yards a catch. So look for the big tight end going across the middle.
4th down, 1 yard to go. 11:56 and counting.
For the Vikings, number 23, Matt Williams.
And so for Western Washington, back to receive will be Matt Williamson. Good snap, kick, nice kick his time, end over end, down, hits at the 20-yard line and takes a Sioux Falls bounce. Will it stop before the end zone? No! Oh, man. The ball looked like it was going to take a leftward bounce and stay inside, but it doesn't. Goes into the end zone, and so a nice break for Western Washington. 11:34 to play here in the first quarter. Another timeout. Stay with us. The NAIA Division II National Championship will continue. There is no score here in the NAIA Division II National Football Championship. Both teams, it's kind of like a heavyweight fight. You've got two of the most powerful offenses in the country as well as two of the defenses. And it's, like I said, a heavyweight fight, kind of feeling each other out here on the first possessions.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because nobody wants to make that first mistake. You know, when you saw the game was going to be in Tennessee early on, you thought the weather could have been bad. First team to fumble could maybe fall behind and lose the contest. The weather's great, but turnovers will probably still be a big factor in this contest.
Darren Erath, the 6'1", 195 junior quarterback under center for Western Washington. Man in motion is Nickel. They turn, they fake the handoff and roll out. They're going to throw it to the outside. Complete. Great stab in there. Nice catch by Eric Morin, who picks the ball up at about the 24-yard line, so it'll be a pickup of 4. One of the members of our broadcast team today is Eric Waddell, and he's down on the sidelines to let us know a little bit about what the field is like today after some of the weather we've had, Eric.
Thanks a lot, guys. So the news is really good because the field is in really good condition. It's a hard field. It had rained and snowed earlier in the week, but it's dry now. Conditions are good. The only thing you got to worry about, a good breeze coming out of the south at about 15 to 20 miles an hour, but it's pretty warm out here.
Well, you stay warm yourself, Eric. Second down, they hand the ball right back up to Ryan Wiggins, who works his way a little bit off the left side. He does cross the 25-yard line, so he'll pick up a couple of, looks like maybe 3 yards, and so it'll bring up a 3rd down and 3 yards to go with 10:42 to play here in the first quarter.
You know, Jeff, we talked about how balanced both these teams are, but it's interesting to me that there's only 2 running plays so far in this game, both of them to Wiggins. Western Washington, we mentioned he likes to run for about 124 yards a game, but we still haven't seen a run out of Sioux Falls yet.
3rd down. 2 split outs to the right, 1 out to the left for the Western Washington Vikings. Erath barking out the signals, throws the ball again. The pass, is it caught? Yes, it is. What a stab on the far side. Chris Nickel, a 6'3", 195-pound senior, makes a great diving stab, Robert, on the right side, and it'll be a 1st down.
Yeah, there he is. That's the man that has to get the touches, has to get the catches, but a nice body extension for the reception there. But I'll tell you something, on every pass attempt thus far in the game for the Vikings, Erath with the quick 3-step drop, trying to avoid any kind of pressure for the quick release.
Nice job, too, getting that ball out where the defense couldn't get a hold of it. He just about had to put it that far out in front of Nickel.
1st down and 10. Trips to the right side. A lone setback is Wiggins. They hand it to Ryan to the left side. Looks and finds a crease. And actually is going to pick up 5 or 6 yards as he gets near the 38-yard line. Good blocking up front. The offensive line, Markovics, Jim Barth, Matt Cross, Todd Walker, and Bill Hatcher. Some big boys up there. 245, 260, 250, and a couple of 245s clearing the way for Wiggins.
Yeah, they have a big line. I'll tell you, I talked with the head coach. He said, Wiggins. I go, what about Wiggins? He said, he's huge. I go, big? He goes, no, tough and mean, and he looks for the hit.
9:21, man in motion is Castillo. Comes to the right side. Erath turns, they hand the ball in the background, and the backfield travels. Dumpke, if you watched the open, you saw that picture right there. Dumpke early on in the open had a shot of him going through and sacking the quarterback. That time, the big Travis, 6'4", 290, came right down on top of Wiggins.
Well, I'll tell you, Dumpke did exactly that. He dumped him right on his keister.
Get a shot at the
3rd down.
play, the replay, 8:51 to play
look.
as he comes in. Look at that.
He just shoots the gap and almost took the handoff on himself and went the other way.
That was the first play that the fullback, Tony Cart, was in. We looked for him to get a block, and he just missed it that time, allowed the defense to penetrate.
8:38, 3rd down. They turn, fake the handoff. Erath's going to look deep. He's got good protection, but good defense. He dumps it off the short side. It's complete to Castillo, and I believe he's going to have another 1st down near the 43-yard line, and another type of good protection for Erath as he had time. Good defense in the secondary. Nice job by Castillo. Got to give him credit for coming back to the ball.
Yeah, he had initial great protection, nice coverage in the secondary, so he rolled out, find the receiver, and for the reception, I'll tell you something, you talked about the heavyweight analogy about filling each other out. So far, Western Washington definitely not in awe of the Cougars from Sioux Falls.
1st down and 10. The ball is at the 42.5, 43-yard line of Western Washington, trying to break midfield for the first time, and Erath will drop back the pass. He's in the pocket with some pressure, though, and he's going to be tripped up from behind. Nice job. He got forced out of the pressure, and Brian Koch comes in and gets him on the ankle.
Great pursuit by Brian Koch that time. He went all the way around. It looked like maybe that Erath was going to get away from him. He just kind of dived at the last second, got a hand on his foot there, tripped him up, and put him down for the sack.
You know, I was talking with the SID. He said that player was the man to stop the run. Well, that time he stopped the pass as well.
7:35. 2nd down and long now. For the first time, really, anybody's going to have to work out of a long situation. The man in motion is Williamson. Erath is back to pass. It's going to be a little screen. They dump it. Get it off to Wiggins. Look for running room, and he's going to get back close to the original line of scrimmage at the 42 to 42 and a half. But that's as far as he goes, as he'll pick up 5 on the little screen pass to the left side. Good pursuit by the linebacking core for Sioux Falls.
Nice job with the screen pass that time. They got about 5 yards, which is what you expect out of a screen pass. But really nobody was fooled. They had the good pursuit in there by the defense. Got the little flip out there in the flat, but then the defense was right there to pick it up and stop Wiggins before he got too much.
6:35 as we work our way through the first quarter here at the NAIA Division II National Football Championship here in Hardin County in Savannah, Tennessee. Dropping back, Erath, a little two-step drop, throws, has a man across the middle, first down, complete to Matt Williamson, a 5'8", 170-pound junior. Nice job, a little two-step drop, and a pop quick for a first down, Robert.
You know, the best success for Western Washington is when they go to that short 2-3 step drop. When they go to the 5 and 7, they've had some problems. And a nice hit, an outstanding hit by Damon Olson on the back end of that, the big hitter for...
First down and 10. The ball is for the first time in the opposite territory, as it is now in Sioux Falls territory at the 41-yard line. First and 10. Now 2 split outs to the left, 1 to the right. And Erath will hand the ball to Wiggins, who works his way up the middle, and it has to cut back to the left side. But again, Coach Mosier, Hunt, and Dumke, the 4 across the middle for Sioux Falls, with a good job of making an early tackle.
Yeah, Travis Dumke fought that block off big time, slid down the line of scrimmage for the stop. Excellent play by Dumke.
The offensive line, they're really trying to open things up in the middle, and I think the defense really read that play well. They didn't go wide to the outside lane, which the offensive line was giving them, and they were able to collapse back on the middle to stop the run right up the middle.
Second down and short. I formation now as Erath is in at quarterback. Tony Carr, the fullback, Ryan Wiggins, and they fumble the snap, and I believe Erath's going to be fortunate to fall on top of the football after about a yard loss. Back to the 40-yard line will bring up third down and long, so another passing situation. But so far, guys, the pass has really been the success of what Western Washington has been able to accomplish.
Looks to me like University of Sioux Falls is really respecting that running game, because we've had a couple of play actions, a couple of runs. They've been able to stop those, but then Western Washington comes right back with a pass, and that's the thing that they're having trouble defending.
Sioux Falls crowd now on their feet as they want a big defensive stand as we're under 5 minutes in the first quarter. From the shotgun, Erath is back. Takes the snap, pressure from the outside. He hangs in, gets the pass complete, and it is going to be complete at the 30. Will be enough for a first down, and a flag will be on the play. Eric Morin is going to be on the reception, and I believe, guys, we're going to have a late hit. Nice pickup. It was almost pass interference, but then a man from the outside came in late on the tackle.
You know, I think it was pass interference on Damon Olson. He got there just a little bit before the ball.
Personal foul they're going to call, though, and they're going to call the late hit, I believe, as it was a nice job by Morin to be able to come up and come back to the ball. Erath, again, with a lot of protection to make the stop, and just threw it right on the money. Darren has been hot so far today.
So Morin makes the reception by getting hit early and late. You know, if his name sounds familiar on the punt team, that's because he's the punter as well.
Erath really seems to be fairly fearless when it comes to throwing the ball. He likes to throw the ball right into coverage. Doesn't bother him, but he's very pinpoint type of passer, getting the ball right into his man's hands.
4 minutes, 45 seconds to play.
15-yard penalty, personal foul.
And the personal foul moves the ball down inside the 20 to the 16-yard line, and so a good opportunity now to strike as Western Washington works their way in. .429 to play. They turn, hand the ball to Wiggins to the left side, works his way out, and a great stop and a tackle by Nate Mosier, the 5'11", 245-pound junior, with great pursuit from the left side to make the tackle.
Mosier he really was able to, had great pursuit that time. Looked like he was the only man to beat. The way they had that play designed, the offensive line was pretty much going to seal off the corner there. If Wiggins would have got to the outside, they might have gone for a score there. Mosier, great job coming from behind and getting the pursuit, grabbing him by the feet there, and able to stop a big game.
Yeah, I asked the coach to describe Mosier in one word. They said quick.
And he was there.
He definitely demonstrated that on that play.
3:49. 2 split outs to the right and 1 to the left, and it is Wiggins by himself in the backfield, but they throw the ball on second down, and the pass is out in the flats. Nice play by Damon Olson for Sioux Falls to make the hit as soon as the pass was caught by Morin, and it will bring up third down and long. About 3rd and 10, actually, as we get set to go here with third down. Actually, 3rd and 11 now as we get a good mark.
Yeah, Western Washington really working that short 3-step drop to try to catch the defense off guard, and so far it's been working for them.
3rd and 11.
Well, they are in field goal range, but I know Western Washington would like to come away with more than 3. Tight eye formation. Wiggins and Carr in the backfield. Back to pass. Rolling out now as he's got a lot of pressure, but does have some help from his defensive players, and now he's almost working his way out of position. But look at the protection, and he may run for it. Erath runs to the left, cuts back, is going to be knocked forward close to the goal line, and what a run by Darren Erath, the 6-foot junior, just made and bided his time, and he almost worked his way to the second quarter as he just rolled around in the backfield for 15 or 20 seconds. 1st and goal to go. The ball has worked inside the 5-yard line. Let's get a look at this one, guys, as it's an amazing job of roaming around the backfield.
Talk about turning nothing into something that time. Erath with a beautiful job, just scrambling for his life, and then just cuts it back open. Everyone was chasing him, left the middle of the field wide open.
They turn, hand the ball off to Charlie Wiggins, and Wiggins works his way in for the touchdown on the left side. Charlie Wiggins gives the Western Washington Vikings a score, and with 3:04 to play here in the first quarter, it's 6-0 Western Washington.
And just like Western Washington head coach Rob Smith stated, they'd like to get that ball and punch it in for the first TD to plant the seed of doubt in USF's minds that maybe they weren't invincible. And don't look now, folks, they just did that.
Great job and a nice completion, and you got to give all the credit really on that to Darren Erath, who worked his way around to not only lose and get knocked out of field goal position, but get the first down, and a flag is on the play as the kick was up and through the uprights, but the kick will be probably redone as they stop Wade Gabers, the kicker. We talked to him yesterday, and is quite a prolific kicker himself, but it looks like he's going to have to back up 5 as too much time was used on the clock.
You know, Jeff, Darren Erath really showed his athleticism. He's a 3-sport athlete, heralded in baseball, basketball as well. Really showed a lot of athleticism there, a la Steve Young, cutting back against the grain to get the ball down and the first down. Beautiful play by Erath.
Gabers will have to kick it again. This one 5 yards back as it was an illegal motion against Washington, Western Washington, so they will snap the ball and place it at the 15. Bad snap, though, and it's on the ground, and it will be picked up and covered by Western Washington, so the miscue really comes into play, and it hurts the Vikings. So instead of the 7, as they had the illegal procedure call, they will be stuck with 6 points. But I guarantee you, folks, they're happy to have the lead against this team that can score like Sioux Falls. 3:04 to play in the first quarter, 6-0 Western Washington. We'll take a timeout and come back with more on the NAIA Division II National Championship. 6-0 the score here. We are in the first quarter with 3 minutes and 4 seconds to play, and it was not the running of Western Washington except for the running of Darren Erath, but passing that moved the Vikings down the field. And Robert, they looked tough.
They looked extremely tough, and I'll tell you, it was passing, but it wasn't going to their main man, Nickel. It was going to the backup receivers because Sioux Falls had basically taken it away, the passing game from Nickel, their big-time player.
To kick the ball off for Western Washington, it will be Wade Gabers. Boots the ball, nice high kick. It's going to land at about the 7-yard line and picked up by Sioux Falls. Travis Cramp works his way up the middle to about the 28-yard line, where Sioux Falls will take over. Eric Waddell is down on the sidelines with former Miss America Kelly Cash. Eric?
I'll tell you what, we're glad to be with Kelly. 1987, a few years ago, but you sang the national anthem today.
Years ago,
Give the folks a little news on what you've been doing lately.
Well, right now I've been going to Milan basketball games, which is in Milan, Tennessee, because my husband's the coach. But I travel and sing, and I love singing the national anthem, especially at a game like this. It's going to be an exciting football day. Good weather. Y'all should be here, really.
Well, thank you very much, Kelly. It's good to see you.
Thanks.
Kelly Cash and a big cash in that time on Sioux Falls as they throw the ball over the middle to the big tight end as it goes to Jeremy Gardner, and he rumbles up the river right down to the 30-yard line, all the way from the about a 38-yard reception Big pickup that time by Gardner. Caught everybody off guard. Instead of dumping it outside, they put it over the middle.
Yeah, Jeremy Cash split the seam. He was like in a pasture all by himself, and he caught that. I'll tell you, this young man sports a 19-yard per catch average, and he just showed the country why.
And he really not very fleet of foot there, but he just ran over people, just dragging them along, a la Larry Zonka type of deal.
You're right, Patty. He was a little surprised. He was so wide open. It was like, look, Mom, here I am.
And now Gardner goes in motion. They pitch the ball to Reuter on the outside looking for running room, and Sioux Falls trying to strike quickly as they work the ball inside the 30 down to about the 27-yard line. And we talked about the good job job that everybody here at Hardin County and Savannah has done on this football field. It has held up nicely. We've had some action in the middle of the field. Still looks good out there. A great job of getting this field ready for the NAIA Division II National Football Championship. It's second down now. The ball is at, looks like, the 27-yard line. And the lone man in the backfield is Westbrook. Under center, Curtis Riggs. Riggs, a 6'2", 205-pound senior, will throw the ball. Gets it outside. The ball is loose, but picked up. They're going to call it incomplete pass to Kalen DeBear. Kalen got stuck as he was coming right at us.
And you can almost, the way he was coming right at us, you can see the fear in his eyes as he saw that he was about to get cut in half as he was trying to pick that ball up off his knees there. But good job just sticking in there and, you know, not ducking out right that time, Robert.
That's exactly right. Yeah, he heard footsteps, and he saw a truck coming as well.
Well, Sioux Falls is a team that strikes quick and early, and they've tried to strike back with 1:42 to play here in the quarter.
You know, Jeff, that was the first down for Sioux Falls so far in this game when they had that real big pass that time to Gardner.
Third down, blitz from Western Washington. Good protection. The pass is incomplete and almost picked up on the rebound by Yorkovic. But the pass intended out to the tight end Gardner, and it is incomplete, and it will bring up fourth down.
I'll tell you, Dave Rudder sports 1,600 yards this season, 8 yards per carry average. But check him out as he picks up the blitzing linebacker. He just takes him to the International House of Pancakes.
It was
gave him a foreign language lesson there.
It was a little bit unclear, actually, to me anyway, who that pass was intended for. Gardner looked like he got a hand on it, but then it still went right into Yorkovic's hands just about there.
Timeout will be taken on the field, but we'll keep it right here in the first quarter, and maybe we get a chance to kind of settle in and look back at what's happened so far, because really I think that Western Washington, and we talking to the players and the coaches before a couple of days ago, they said they're going to try to do a lot of things that they don't think anybody's done, and that is put a lot of pressure on Curtis Riggs, because as great as he is and as good as he is at finding his open receivers, they don't feel that he's been pressured enough this year to show, and they think some pressure will tell.
That's exactly right. 50 touchdowns. They're thinking, well, maybe weak competition, but I'm telling you something. He didn't do it with mirrors. You throw 50 touchdowns, I don't care at what level, you are a prolific passer.
One thing they have been doing a good job of, that is the Western Washington Vikings. They have been really doing a great job of covering the receivers. He's had some time to throw, a little bit of pressure, but he's had some time to throw. But the big difference is there's nobody to throw to. The guys are covered.
So a lot of times, and that's the truth, if you're not getting a lot of pressure necessarily on him from your line, if you can put the pressure by the fact that you don't let anybody get open, that's just as good as the coverage sack, as they call it. Fourth down, and Sioux Falls will go for it. 1:33 at their Western Washington 28-yard line. Lone setback is David Reuter. Dropping back the pass is Riggs. Looks across the middle. The pass is complete to DeBoer, and he's going to have a first down inside the 20-yard line down to the 17. So a great call that time. You got to give head coach Bob Young of Sioux Falls a lot of credit. Says this is the national championship game. We're going to try to score. That's what we do best.
That's exactly right. You know, the stat sheet says a lot of things about this USF ball club, but it doesn't talk about the heart of these players. If you see the effort of that receiver on that play, it's amazing. Check out the run, or should I say bulldoze, after the catch.
Yeah, DeBoer really did a great job, kept those legs churning, and you can see right here as he makes the catch, he's got the man just trying to drag him down there, just keep the legs turning. The tackler there is number 25, Isaac Bloom. Bloom unable to make the hit before stopping the first down.
Erath swings the ball to the outside. It goes to Reuter, who breaks a tackle down to the 10-yard line, and he'll pick up 7 on the carry. Great job of swinging it out. A defender really putting pressure on Reuter before the catch was made. That was Rohrbaugh, but nice job of just continuing, not worried about the defender, catching the ball and turning upfield.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He kept his concentration, but to prove this is truly a game of inches, that play could have easily gone the other way for a touchdown.
Just inches away from a possible INT. 30 seconds to play in the quarter. Second down, the ball is at the 10-yard line. They turn and hand it off to Reuter. Up the middle, down, touchdown! Sioux Falls! And the Cougars have answered in the quarter.
And there he adds to his 8-yard per run average with a touchdown to tie this game up.
You know, there's only been 2 runs so far by the University, before that play, like 2 running plays, actual running plays have been going pass. We talked about how they were having trouble actually getting any first downs or moving the ball. Then finally on this last drive here, they hand the ball off a couple of times. That kind of tricked things for the Vikings, and that's how they're able to get the score in.
In for the extra point, Cooper. Good snap, the hold, and the kick is up. And it's good.
And this may be a situation where we see that extra point that was missed by Western Washington could come as a factor down through the game.
21 seconds to play here in the first quarter of action. The drive, 7 plays, 71 yards, 2 minutes, 37 seconds on the clock. David Reuter with a 9-yard run and a great job. And I tell you, this is a mark of championships because you had the big quick strike by Western Washington, kind of shocked a little bit to probably to Sioux Falls, not used to being behind. A team that scores 50 points in 8 of their games, they don't like, and they're not used to being behind. But to be able to come back, that shows a lot of character and a lot of class out of Sioux Falls, and so that's going to obviously give them a lot of confidence continuing here into the second quarter.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jeff Bowen, you don't have back-to-back undefeated seasons by mistake.
As we look at the touchdown run again.
Very, very powerful young man taking it in for pay dirt.
That's right. He had good blocking that time. That really opened up the hole up for him up the middle. All he had to do was grind it down and drag defenders with him.
Andy Harold, Mark Hansen, Travis Eldridge, and Schroeder and Shaw, the 5 across the front for Sioux Falls. But you've got to give them all kinds of credit for continuing the drive. And I think that's the biggest plus that Sioux Falls is going to take right here out of the first quarter. And it gave their fans something to cheer about. The last thing you want to do, too, is get another group of fans like Western Washington into the game and keep your fans out. So I think both teams have accomplished, in one respect, what they wanted to come in. Western Washington did control the ball. They drove down and scored. But quick strikes, the big, long pass play, the one quick right off to Gardner was really the difference because that gave Sioux Falls the momentum, put them into Western Washington territory. We're set for the kickoff here. Set to do the kicking for Sioux Falls, Ryan Rollinger. And the kick, this one end over end, kind of short, drops down about the 10-yard line, picked up and actually dropped by Wiggins. Now he's going to have to work his way back to the left side, and he is going to be brought down. What a play in there. Jason Yarkovic brings Wiggins down at the 5-yard line as he lost it at the 10, tried to reverse his field, made his way back across, and he will be down at the 6-yard line. So with 16 seconds to play here in the first quarter of the NAIA Division II National Football Championship, Western Washington will begin in a hole.
And what happens is when you have a miscue like that where he drops the kick, that kind of breaks things down all around. The blocking scheme breaks down and then allows the defense to cover. And, so when you can't field it cleanly, that just kind of ruins the whole thing. You can almost expect every time to lose yards.
16 seconds, trip split out to the left side. The lone setback is Ryan Wiggins. This time they give it to Ryan. Ryan to the left side, has an open hole, works his way out toward the 20-yard line, and nice job of a quick pop. You've got Western Washington throwing the ball so often. They give it to Wiggins, works his way right up to the 20-yard line, and it will be to the, looks like the 21-yard line. 1st and 10 for Ryan Wiggins and the Western Washington Vikings as they move out of dangerous territory as time will expire here in the first quarter of play. 7-6. Sioux Falls on top as we take a timeout. Come back for the second quarter of the NAIA Division II National Football Championship live from Savannah, Tennessee. Stay with us. back here in Jim Carroll Stadium in Savannah, Tennessee, here at Hardin County, in the heart of Hardin County, as we are set to go second quarter action. 7-6, Sioux Falls is on top at the 20-yard line. Actually, the 21-yard line. Western Washington will take over to start the second quarter, thanks to a nice run by Ryan Wiggins to get his Viking teammates out of trouble. Wiggins, the lone setback. 2 split outs to the left, 1 to the right. Under center, Darren Erath. And in motion goes Williamson to the right side. They turn, hand the ball off to Wiggins. Right up the middle, has some other hole and works his way out to the 37, 38-yard line. Ryan Wiggins with a great run. And I tell you what, guys, it has been some fantastic blocking up front the last 2 plays that has given Ryan Wiggins some holes to run through.
That is big time. In fact, the strong guard, Todd Walker, pulled down the line of scrimmage and just nailed his man, opening up the crease for Wiggins, and he negotiated it quite nicely.
And this is a little bit different than what we saw. We talked about how much they were going to run the ball. Then they came out and passed early on. Now they're getting back to that game that they've run so well all year.
Ball control, the 2 things they said time and time again on Thursday when we had a chance to talk to the players. They pitch it to Wiggins, working his way to the left side. This time, though, after shame me twice, I guess, shame on you, shame me 3 times, shame on me, and Sioux Falls does not let the big Ryan Wiggins shame them 3 times in a row, and they bring him down for no gain on that play.
Outstanding defensive pressure and pursuit by Sioux Falls, saying enough of this running down my throat action.
That's right. They really, I think they read the play. They knew it was coming that time, and they were ready for it after 2 successful runs in a row. They definitely put it in their minds they were going to stop the run that time.
Now would be a great time to go to the air.
Man in motion is Williamson to the left side, and they'll do just that. Erath throws the ball right on the money, complete out there to Morin, and he's going to be across the 49-yard line. The ball shouldn't be touching midfield, and that's another first down for the Western Washington Vikings.
Oh, that was a great crossing pattern by Morin, because he's the punter, and he didn't want to do that. He wanted to play some more so he got the first down. Move those chains.
Morin really ran a great route that time, Robert. He had his man Morrell chasing behind him, and once he made the catch, all he had to do was turn it upfield. He was beat his man, and it was deep into the secondary before they could bring him down.
First down and 10, the ball touching the midfield stripe. Playing right there on the NAIA logo. Want to thank those folks for having us here tonight. The NAIA has done such a great job in putting his championship on. And a Darren Erath sandwich is what that was, as it was Sioux Falls all over the junior quarterback at Erath. That time was just in the middle of a bunch of purple. It was Panelson and Wilson, the linebackers, coming in. And they just had a Viking sandwich.
Yeah, Sioux Falls formed a small town in the backfield, crushing Darren Erath right there. We'll take a look at the replay. I guess they wanted to move out of the way of that logo so we could talk about the NAIA. Yeah, it's a beautiful, just a bull rush.
Yeah, exactly. Bull rush. They had both outside linebackers coming in around the corners there, and there was just no place for him to go.
Second down and a bunch. Erath under center. Drops and hands the ball off. It goes to Wiggins. Works his way to the outside looking for blocks, and he's not going to have any, as he's going to be pulled down after about a yard gain. Great pursuit by the left side. That time it was Hunt and Dumke working their way out along with Koch, who made the tackle. And so it will bring up third down and long, and it looks like Erath time to go back to the air, but as soon as we say that, Wiggins may spurt for about 15, 16 yards. 2 minutes, 19 seconds to play. 7-6 the score here in the second quarter. Sioux Falls on top of Western Washington. The battle, they call it the Rumble on the River, playing for the NAIA Division II National Football Championship. The shotgun formation for Erath now. Takes a low snap, is dropped back to pass, good protection, throws the ball deep, intended out there for Nickel, and it's too far as the pass is overthrown, and it will bring up fourth down. And so Western Washington able to work out of a hole where they were pinned at the 6-yard line after the punt. This one, after the kickoff, they do work their way out, but they're not able to put any points on the board. It'll bring up fourth down and a punting situation.
You know, Darren Erath had what he wanted. He had his wide out man-on-man down the sidelines. Just a little overthrown there, but it's good to know that it's there, and it keeps Sioux Falls thinking about that deep ball.
If that pass would have been on the money, I think it would have been a score, because Nickel, he's got so much more size than Morrell, who was trying to guard him there. He would have caught it. He could have just pulled away and run for the score.
Nice snap to Morin. The kick high, this time a little bit of a spiral, will be picked up at the 12-yard line. Working back to the left side is Travis Krant. and he will find little room at all. He does cross the 20 to about the 21, and that is where Sioux Falls will take over after the timeout. 11:43 to play, second quarter, 7-6. Sioux Falls with a 1-point lead over Western Washington.
Welcome back to Hardin County, Tennessee, home of the NAIA National Championships. You know, folks, when you think of the NAIA, you probably think of the basketball championships, the longest-running basketball championship of its kind. In fact, this year it'll be the 60th anniversary at the Mabee Center in Tulsa between March 18th and the 24th. It'll be here on the NAIA National Championship Network, along with the good buddies at LaCie Broadcasting, bringing it to you.
We appreciate to be a part of this broadcast as well, and the handoff goes right up the middle to David Reuter, and he's going to be met rudely for a 1-yard loss as he will be knocked back to the 20-yard line. And I tell you what, we appreciate all the folks across the country, including those up at Fox Northwest, helping bring the ball game to the folks of Western Washington fame. A lot of fans up at the great Northwest able to watch the game, and all across the world. In fact, the folks at Armed Forces Television watching worldwide over in the Persian Gulf and Germany and all across, watching the game live, catching some NAIA National Football Championship. Riggs back to pass, throws across the middle, has a man, and it is complete again to Jeremy Gardner, the tight end, and what a beautiful pass. We talked about the strength of his throw. That was such a touch pass. Tim Hansen, the linebacker, just not able to cover Jeremy Gardner, a 6'3", 240 tight end. A guy can catch, and he battled for that one. Let's take a look at the replay, Robert.
Let's take a look at that replay. Riggs, nice 5-step drop, shows the nice touch, but check out Jeremy with a little push-off to get the position. It wasn't called with the reception. Big play, a real big-time player, Jeremy Gardner.
10:46, 1st and 10. 2 catches, 71 yards for Gardner. They hand the ball right up the middle to Reuter. Reuter works to the left side, breaks a tackle across the 40, and inside the 40 to about the 35-yard line. 37, they'll mark it before he stopped it. That's another first down. And, folks, the Sioux Falls Express has left the train station.
Bloom with a great job, or actually Bloom actually was the man there trying to put the tackle on Reuter, but Reuter just got that big stiff arm, just shoved him down and pushed him away for about 3 more yards before Bloom could get any help.
Yeah, people watching this telecast definitely know why he's sporting an 8-yard per average rush. But I'll tell you something, in the last 2 plays, you've seen what this team's all about. The big pass followed up by the big run.
1st down and 10. The ball is at the 37-yard line. The lone setback, they fake the handoff, and back to pass is Riggs. Complete again to Gardner. And Gardner battles his way inside the 10. Another big pickup, and that 71 yards on 2 catches now, as Gardner has become the man of the hour as he has 3 big catches now. Another 1st down, and with 10 minutes and counting to play here in the 1st half, Sioux Falls is making a drive for another score.
Yes, the Jeremy Gardner Show from Hardin County, Tennessee, making his bid for the player of the game, which we'll be voting on later. Yeah, Jeremy Gardner taking no prisoners.
9:58. Ball is at the 8-yard line, they call it. Split outs right and left, and it's Reuter in the backfield. They blitz, they fake the ball, and they pass it outside. This time, a nice job, and Nelson breaks a tackle and is in for the score. What a job by Mike Nelson. Caught the little swing pass and then broke the tackle at the 5, and he's in for the score with 9:42 to play. The score now 13-6, Sioux Falls.
Yeah, Michael Johnson didn't wrap his arms. Just take a look at this. With the drop and the pass, and then Michael Johnson, number 10, had a shot, but he didn't wrap his arms. You're not going to do that to a big guy, and he goes in for the touchdown.
So it's 13-6 now, and it will be Hoopirin to toe the extra point. 13-6, a 7-point lead. Good snap. Hold. The kick is up. And it is no good. Just off to the right side, not real snap. So a break there for Western Washington as they had a bad snap, caused them to not complete the extra point. And that time the kick is off to the right, no good. And so with 9:42 to play, 13-6, Sioux Falls leads it. We'll take a timeout and be back right after this.
During the last break before the score, Sioux Falls' coaching staff was talking about defeating the Viking blitz, and what their strategy was is go to the tight end over the middle. It appears to have worked. They just put a touchdown on the board. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Eric, and that's exactly right. The strategy working perfectly. Look at the drive, Pat.
Okay, we had 5 plays on that drive. Went for 78 yards, but the big deal is that it only took 2 minutes and 1 second off the clock. Finished up with an 8-yard pass. Riggs went to Nelson, and the point after from Kuiper was no good.
Number 14.
The thing about that is, we've talked about how Sioux Falls likes to get on the board fast. They don't take much time with their drives. The one big drive that Western Washington had so far, it took like 8 or 9 minutes off the clock.
Well, Riggs is the man with the score, but right now Western Washington will try to answer. The kick goes down, and it will be picked up by Michael Johnson at the 25-yard line. Fumble! And let's see where the ball is. They're fighting for it. Sioux Falls had a man laying on it, and then he jumped up, and then somebody else picked it up. So a mistake by Western Washington, and Sioux Falls jumping right on top of the football. And I tell you what, Robert, that is dangerous to give this offense the ball this close to the goal line.
Yeah, the first turnover that could cost them. Each team had turnovers that were harmless. They recovered themselves, but this one laid it on the ground. And that's Michael Johnson. He has 44 tackles. He needed 45. He didn't wrap on that touchdown to bring down the ball carrier, and on the next play, he coughs it up.
Riggs and Water bend the tail here so far for University of Sioux Falls. Water 4 rushes for 35 yards and a touchdown. Riggs, he's got 7 of 9 passing today, 133 yards so far with only 1 touchdown.
A timeout is being taken on the field, so we'll do the same. With 9:31 to play here in the first half, it's 13-6. Sioux Falls over Western Washington at the NAIA Division II National Championship. And we are back. And it has been Sioux Falls that has been dominating so far. You mentioned Riggs, 133 yards, 7 of 9 passing. I mean, this guy is really unbelievable when you consider the fact that from a standpoint of a quarterback to have thrown so many attempts, 3 interceptions. He had a string of 10 games this year, 1 through 10, no interceptions at all. That's amazing.
That is amazing. And Riggs just broke the NAIA national record for his 81st career touchdown.
Throws the ball again, complete to Gardner, his favorite receiver so far in the ball game. But a flag is on the play on the far side. I see yellow, so let's see what the officials have for us today as they will come up, and you get a signal out there from DeBoer that says it's against Western Washington, and that is the fact. And so the ball inside the 20. We'll see if they accept a penalty. It should be a first down. It's offsides against Western Washington, declined, and so the play will stand, and it's enough for a first down. Another completion by Riggs, and I'm telling you, he's got time to throw, and so the pressure that Western Washington wanted to put on isn't there.
That's exactly right, and I'll tell you something. This Riggs is a player. He's going to be going for his 82nd touchdown.
And Gardner seems to be the key man. He's the go-to man so far for Riggs today.
9:21 to play. Split out to the right side and to the left. They hand the ball to Reuter. A flag on the play, so Reuter scampering in, breaks into the tackle, is in for the score. Let's see, though, the flag back in the backfield. I think, folks, the celebration will be short-lived, as this one's probably coming back with a hold, and that is the call. A hold against Sioux Falls. The fans not happy with it, but the official thrown right back there where the protection was falling back toward Riggs, and the play will come back. But, man, another great play, and Western Washington's got to start thinking about wrapping up the arms and making the tackles.
Yeah, it looks like Travis Eldridge basically tackled his man to open up that crease.
You know, we talked before about the styles. We talked about how University of Sioux Falls likes to make their drives nice and short, get the ball in quickly, while Western Washington likes to take a little bit more time. That could be against them here as the game draws on. If Sioux Falls can get on the board again, then that really puts Western Washington in a hole. And when they like to take a lot more time off the clock, it'll be hard for them to get back on the board and catch up.
9 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the half, 13-6. Sioux Falls on top of Western Washington, and it will be Riggs back to pass. Throws the ball to the left side, and it is incomplete. Intended out there for Kalen DeBoer. 6'3", 215-pound senior. Kalen is a nice-sized target out there, has some speed to get outside, but the pass just overthrown. And it's incomplete, and that is what? That is only the 3rd incomplete pass of the game by Riggs. That's amazing.
Kalen DeBoer, he's their go-to guy on the wideout position, sporting 15 touchdowns with 89 receptions. But so far, it's been the Jeremy Gardner show. In fact, Gardner probably didn't mind that penalty because it's going to give more yards if they can get him across the middle right now.
Get the completion. That's right. 9:06 to play, and it is Gardner at the tight end slot on the right side. They roll out, they throw the screen pass right across the middle to Mike Nelson. Nelson with the blocks and has worked his way down close to the 20-yard line, so he's near the original line of scrimmage before he's finally brought down. I believe that was Mark Spencer in on the tackle for Western Washington. But a nice pickup as they're going to pick up, it looks like, about 15 yards down to the 20-yard line. And it will bring up third down and about 12 to go.
The strength of these tight ends, both Nelson and Gardner, is just incredible. As soon as they make the catch, neither one of them very fast, but they just seem to be dragging defenders. Nelson did a great job that time, just dragging his man along with him there to pick up those extra yards.
8:28 and counting now. The first half rolling right along here as we rumble on the river. The NAIA Division II National Football Championship. The pass intended and out of bounds, but caught by Kalen DeBar. And I tell you what, folks, that was an NFL-type catch. He went extended all the way out and caught the ball, just was a little beyond the flag stick out there, just not able to pull it in. Fantastic effort that time by the senior. Let's take a look at this.
20-yard line.
Nice protection again to him there for Riggs. You can't say enough about that.
And you see he gets extended out here. He makes the catch. His feet are in position, but the thing was is his gut, his belly there kind of hit the ground before his feet. His feet would have been in if he could have got them down a little bit.
Yeah,
there,
that
Robert.
was, I'll tell you something, that was a great call by the officials. And something about the officials, the officiating staff, they've been chosen by merit and region. So the NAIA making sure that it's not a good old boy situation, that they have the best people for the job for the nonpartisan look.
8:18 left to play here. 13-6 is our score, but Sioux Falls looks like they're definitely threatening to put some more points on the board, Robert.
Oh, well, that's evident. You know, I'll tell you something. Like I said in the open, out of the 13 victories this season by USF, 8 of those contests they scored 50 points or more. So fasten your seatbelts.
There's a good look at our officials today. Butch Stovall, the head referee, they are out of Louisville, Kentucky, I believe. Is that all right?
That's right.
Louisville, they are Mid-South Conference, Division II here, the NAIA. And they have been well rewarded for their efforts of getting in. And they are calling a fantastic football game so far. I'll tell you what, though, you got to give a lot of credit also to both of these two teams because they've played a very clean football game. I think we've had about 3 penalties total. One of them declined, so the game moving right along. It is fourth down, and going for it is going to be Sioux Falls. The pass is up, and it is caught, and it is a touchdown by David Reuter. The pass was short, and Reuter beat his man to the ball, and what an unbelievable play. A great job by the running back, David Reuter, to come high for the catch and just take it away. Let's take a look at this one, folks. What a great play.
Nice job by Reuter getting out in the flat here. He's covered by a linebacker. A little bit of a mismatch there. Mike Spencer unable to catch up, and I tried to get his hand up for the ball there, and he's unable to keep good coverage on Reuter. Reuter gets it in for the score.
Yeah, you said it, Pat, right there, back on backer. Most of the time that back's going to win that contest.
8-12, 19-6 the score. In for the extra points, Cooper. The kick is up. And this one is good, and it's now 20-6 the score with 8 minutes and 12 seconds to play here in the first half of play. And what a job. You've got to give so much credit that time. 6 plays, 28 yards, 1:19 on the time of possession. A 20-yard touchdown pass, Riggs to Reuter. The point after touchdown is good, and so we are standing with 8 minutes and 12 seconds to play. 20-6, and I tell you, you've got that just is incredible. Not as much you can say about that job of going up and catching. And now you got to look. Rob Smith, the head coach at Western Washington, has definitely got his work cut out for him because now, you know, earlier on he was doing a good job of using Wiggins running the football, and now Erath is pretty much definitely going to have to start throwing the ball because they are in a hole.
Well, the big problem for Western Washington was allowing Sioux Falls to get, have that turnover on the punt or on the kickoff and get the ball right back again where they're able to get in deep in scoring position there so they can put some more points on the board. Western Washington definitely is going to have to get something going here and try and get some more points on the board before they go into halftime. Also, one thing I would like to point out is that they had that timeout there. Sioux Falls called that timeout because they knew how critical it is because they know to get some more points on the board. Western Washington, a real good offensive team themselves, and they're not out of this game by any means.
Back to receive the kick. It's going to be Michael Johnson. And it looks like also Randy Carter will be back. And the kick End over end. It's going to be picked up by Johnson. Johnson fumbled the last one. Goes straight up the middle. This time looking for running room. Skips around. Will be met at the 30-yard line by Chris Wolf. And that's where Western Washington will take over. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line with 8 minutes and 6 seconds to play here in the first half of play. The difference in time of possession, Pat, has been incredible.
That's right. 13:28 is how 13 minutes 28 seconds. That's how much time Western Washington has had the ball. However, they've only been able to turn that into 6 points. And we've been saying time and time again, 8 minutes 20 seconds, very short amount of time for the University of Sioux Falls, but they've got 3 touchdowns on the board.
Under center is Darren Erath, the junior quarterback. Has one man behind him, Ryan Wiggins. They turn, hand the ball to Ryan. Ryan to the right side, crosses the 35, close to the 36. And that's where he'll be brought down for a gain of 5.
And I'll tell you something, looking at the stat sheet earlier in the week, something was glaring at me, and it was the second quarter. Something was going to have to give today. The Cougars scored 201 points in the second quarter, but giving up 74. And the Vikings scored 103, giving up 28. So the second quarter was the quarter for both of these teams. So far, Sioux Falls all over it.
Second down, 4 yards to go. A pickup of 6 on the last play. Wiggins gets the ball again, and he's going to be pulled down in there by Travis Dumke as he gets about a yard. Nice job by Big Travis, 6'4", 290. Had a chance to talk to him yesterday, and a real nice guy. Was just excited about getting an opportunity to play today. A senior going out, they got finals over with. They're just ready to relax and not even worrying about the football game as much as finals are over. So that was the big deal for him.
Yeah, that was beautiful when he said, I'll tell you, Travis Dumke, he's an all-around NAIA athlete standout. He's an All-American shot putter, holds records in indoor and outdoor.
At a 290, a guy that can push his own self around. 6:48 to play. Erath, short drop, throws the ball out. It's complete and enough for a first down on the right side across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. So a nice pickup up there. I believe that was Nickel on the reception. 6'3", a senior. Good target out there and a nice job. Short drop, and that's really seemed to be the big key for Erath. If he doesn't have to step back and take 5 or 6 steps, he's able to hit his receivers quick.
Yes, that short drop that does it for him. And that Pat stated, if they're going to get, there's plenty of time to get back into this contest. And if they're going to do it, they're going to have to get the ball to number 86. Because McNichol, 15 pro scouts have already called the university. He truly can play at the next level.
Trips to the left side. The lone back is Wiggins. Loaded up on the defensive front. They hand the ball to Ryan, and he's going to be able to pick up a couple of yards, but that's about it, as it was Coach Mosier hunting Dumke heavy across the front, and I believe Ray Smith, the linebacker, had moved up as well. So they had 5 across the front, and it was tough to find some running room in there for Western Washington.
Nice pursuit by the defense that time, and it seems like they've been able to key on the run. The passing game, which is not the specialty really of Western Washington, has been doing the best for them so far. The defense really has been keying on the run against Western Washington.
5 minutes, 45 seconds to play. Got a lot of great things coming up at halftime, including look at our special all-star band here today. 5:34, the lone back. Back to pass, short drop, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Chris Nickel out on the right side. Nickel not able to make his turn before the pass was complete, Pat.
Nickel, he had, that was the same play basically they ran when Nickel got the first down 2 plays ago. Just a little quick 3-step out and button hook just to get enough for the first down. That time, though, the yards that they needed was a little bit longer. He took his turn a little bit short of the first down, but the pass was going a little farther downfield. That's where the miscommunication was between quarterback and receiver Nickel.
Third down, 8 yards to go, 5:29 to play. The man in motion is Matt Williamson. Dropping back this time into the pocket, looking for some help, being pursued, and out there's Dumke chasing the quarterback. They throw across the middle, complete, and a stick right there, a flag on the play. But the pass complete out there to Eric Morin, and a nice pickup. And folks, we do have a hit of the game coming up a little bit later on, and that was a nice pop. It was a good for a first down, but you've got to give Morin a lot of credit for hanging on to the football. Let's see if the play will stand.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, offensive pass interference. Oh,
well, I was going to say that was great movement by Moore and getting away from his receiver, helping out the scrambling quarterback. Maybe that was the deal.
Tough break that time because a nice job of scrambling because Erath was in heavy pursuit from Travis Dumke as he had to work his way out to the right side. But the penalty will go back from the 43-yard line, and that's a bad break for Western Washington. Pass interference against the offense. That'll move the ball back to the 28-yard line. So it is now 3rd down and a mile and a half. I tell you what, it is definitely passing situations. That means they'll probably turn around and hand the ball to Wiggins.
Sounds like, you know, Jeff, we are just across the river from McNairy County, home of the infamous lawman Buford Pusser. Well, I'll tell you something. Right now, USF, they are definitely walking tall.
Big time. 5:05 to play. Lone setback, 2 split outs to the left, 1 to the right, and it is a pass. They throw the ball, and it is incomplete, bobbling it. The pass intended in there for Nickel, and he was not able to hold on to the football, and the incomplete pass will bring up 4th down in a punting situation. So another big stand by the defense. We talked yesterday with Sioux Falls, and Pat, we said, you know, your defense hasn't really been tested because you score so many points. Can you stand the test of a national championship? And they said, not only can we, but watch us, and they have so far.
Oh, they certainly have. They've really done a good job of putting some pressure on Erath, but the big thing is they have really basically shut down this running game. You know, Wiggins has had a couple of good runs, but for the most part, they haven't been able to move the ball on the ground.
Good snap, and the punt is up, and it is a high punt. End over end, and it's going to be picked up, fair caught at the 36-yard line, and that is where Sioux Falls will take over possession. The ball at the 36-yard line, so a little bit farther than they had to go the last trip down the field. But I tell you right now, Robert, Sioux Falls is on a roll, not only offensively but defensively.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'll tell you something. It's a case of the prolific offense spurring on the defense to go to another level. In fact, right there, Travis Dumke came inches away from blocking that punt, and he came off the field kicking himself. So I'll tell you that Travis Dumke is playing the game of a lifetime.
1st down, the ball at the 36-yard line. They roll out. Riggs throws the ball back across field to Reuter. Has some blocks out front. Gets through 1 across midfield. Cuts back, and he's on his way to the 30. Down to the 20. 1 man to beat. Chasing Michael Johnson. Can't catch him, and a touchdown by Curtis Riggs. 1 play, and they travel 64 yards. 31. Sioux Falls is marching toward the championship.
I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, across the country watching this telecast, this young man, number 41, Dave Reuter, for USF. This is his first, he's a sophomore, but this is his first year playing, and he has set school records in scoring 132 points, in yards rushing over 1,600 yards, 24 touchdowns. I'll tell you, he is a player. He's a big-time player.
11 for 15, 241 yards, 3 touchdowns as Curtis Riggs making a name for himself. He is trying to pick up that offensive most valuable player trophy. The kick is up, and it is good. And so it's 4 minutes and 31 seconds, 27-6 now is the score, and Western Washington needs to do a little bit of regrouping, Pat.
You know, one of the things they're going to have to do is cover a play like that a little bit better. That was a screen pass to Reuter out there, but the man that was guarding him, the man that was covering him, was a defensive end. That's Corey Beeman. Beeman just didn't have the speed out there, and he was just beat by a mile. Then it was just a race down the sidelines. Reuter, even though he's pretty big, he's got good speed. He just outran everybody.
I'll tell you what, it's going to take me more time to read you the touchdown drive than it took to score it. We got a 1-play drive, 64 yards, 16 seconds. Riggs to Rudder, PAT. Kuiper was good. I hope that was under 16 seconds.
It was close. But when's the last time you had to run 64 yards?
In 16 seconds.
Well, actually, it was like during the pregame.
Yeah, right. Up the stairs.
Up the stairs.
A little CPR action.
4:31 to play in Sioux Falls. The stands are packed, folks. We were hoping for good weather. They kept promising us. It was kind of like, speak it and it will be. You know, it's kind of saying it'll happen kind of a thing around here the last few days. Every time I talked to somebody new from Savannah and Hardin County, they kept telling me it was going to be like 5 degrees warmer. It started out, it was expected to be about 30 degrees and sunny. The next day, it was going to be about 39 and sunny. It worked its way up, and the last I heard last night was 54 and sunny. I don't know what the temperature is at this moment, but it's a beautiful day, and the stands here are packed here on this side. They're packed on the other side. Both teams with a good contingent have made their way down from their respective campuses, and it's positive. It's got to say a lot about NAIA football and about the love of these two teams by their respective schools. Short onside type kick goes out of bounds, and so the flag will come down, and so all of a sudden good field position in reality will come out of this for Western Washington. We'll just see if they can make something happen with 4 minutes and 31 seconds to play here in the first half. And talking to Rob Smith, the head coach for Western Washington, one thing he didn't want to do was get down big, because he knows that the one thing about Sioux Falls, Robert, is it's kind of like smelling the blood. They can strike, and when they get the lead, they hang on. And the only time that really they've been pressured has it been when the games this year have been close the whole way. There's a couple of games that were actually a tight game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think USF got sick of everybody telling them that the strong conference was from the Northwest, and that the Vikings played their championship game last week. I think they brought something to the table today to persuade everybody otherwise.
Right now, with a 27-6 lead, there's little argument, at least on this side of the stadium, where Sioux Falls is sitting. 4:31 to play. Darren Erath, the quarterback. It's Ryan Wiggins in the backfield by himself. Four-man front. Dropping back the short pass. They throw it in. It's almost intercepted. Holy smokes. David Olson, the senior quarterback, had it in his breadbasket, and it just slipped right through his hands. Otherwise, he was seeing pay dirt, Pat. It was a close one.
He was already counting those 6 points to his statistical totals right there. Let's take a look at the replay here. And Olson, he was just right in position. The pass just was not very good. Just was not even to the receiver. Olson right in the right place, but he was already looking for the goal line.
Looked like they tried to run a sprint route on the outside, and the quarterback threw it short. The only man there was Olson. Second down and 10. Dropping back the pass this time. The pass is complete. Nice hit as the pass goes to Morin. But he's only going to pick up about 4 down to the 40-yard line, so it'll bring up third down and about 6. Snyder on the stop.
Nice job by Snyder to wrap him up there, hitting him right in the middle there and taking him down, because we've seen Morin so far, and when he's made catches today, he's been able to turn it upfield for some yards. Good coverage, even though they gave up 5, but that was a nice little swing out pass. Snyder did a good job of covering his man and keeping it from being a big game.
Under 4 minutes to play here in the first half of play. 27-6 our score. If you're just joining us, the NAIA Division II National Football Championship. Darren Erath back to pass. This pass is completed. It's going to be enough for a first down. Nice job by Morin to be able to reach forward and hold on to the ball as he fell forward. And Robert, back-to-back pass completions, and Western Washington beginning a little bit of a drive.
You know, you have to love that. That's good news. But the bad news is they are taking Chris Nickel out of the contest, and he is the man that has to touch the ball. I've said I don't want to be redundant, but he is a pro-type player, and if they get the ball in his hands, big things can happen.
3 minutes, 24 seconds and counting. 3 wide receivers and a lone setback. And this time they hand the ball to Ryan Wiggins, and he is met in the backfield. He'll lose a couple of yards as the big front, can we say it, Cope, Mosier, Hunt, and Dumpke all over the place. The linebackers doing a good job as well. And, you know, I tell you, you've got to give a lot of credit to the front side this time on defensively. You look at the stats, and really it's the linebackers and cornerbacks for Sioux Falls really picking up all the tackles. But tonight so far, it has been the front line that's really stopping the initial surge by Western Washington.
That's it. Dumpke is playing big time along with Koch.
2:43, 27-6 the score. I formation this time, and Erath is going to have to roll out. Throws the ball. It's tipped and knocked away. A great defensive play by Philip Porter on the left side as he came back. And I believe that Morin thought that he had the ball. Actually, that was Nickel as they were throwing to out on the right side. Thought he probably had something there. Unfortunately, great defensive play by Porter. Unfortunate for Western Washington, and it brings up third down now and 12. The ball's at the 45-yard line of Western Washington, trying to make something happen. You know, they scored the first points of the game, and since then have been shut out 27-zip. I formation, Carr the fullback, and Wiggins is the tailback. Tight end to the left, and dropping back the pass is Erath. Intended out there and complete. It goes to Castillo, and another first down, and a great job of protecting the quarterback as the line. Castillo just ran a short little up and out pattern, picks up about 16 or 17.
Yeah, he definitely knows how to catch that ball. In fact, he's the 6th all-time receiver in school history with 103 catches. You know, he had 13 grabs and 155 yards in one game. Let's take a look at this reception.
Well, again, look at the nice blocking. They do give him some time, and Erath has to have time if he drops back deep.
And nice poise, though. He did get some pressure at the end there. Did get hit and taken down after he threw the ball, but he hung in there tough, and he's not afraid to throw the ball under pressure.
2:26 to play now. Man in motion is Williamson. And back to pass Erath. Short drop, quick hit over the middle. It goes to Nickel, but it's incomplete. The pass a little out in front of him. Didn't have a chance to really pull it in, Robert.
Yeah, you know, both coordinators and everybody in the stadium and probably across the country by this point know they've got to get the ball to Nickel, and they're trying the quick slant, just a little out of reach.
And good coverage by the defense that time. Philip Porter was right there, basically covered him like a glove there, all over him, and not giving him a clean shot at the ball.
Second down, 10 yards to go. The ball's inside of Sioux Falls territory at the 38.5-yard line. 2:23 to play in the half. Defense is up, faking the blitz. Then they pull back. They hand the ball to Wiggins. Wiggins looks, gets upside, has the first down, runs over a man, and is across the 30 to about the 27-yard line. Nice pickup there by Ryan Wiggins.
Beautiful play calling, I think, that time. It's been pass, 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 and actually they've been able to move the ball just a little bit there. And then Wiggins does a nice job there coming up with the run. When they pull that draw, that's what gets for big yards.
15 carries, 65 yards now on the night for Ryan Wiggins, and so nice job of picking up the ball. Injured player out on the field now for Sioux Falls. Looks like that is Chris Snyder. Snyder, the one of the safeties, in on the stop that time, and Snyder laying there. We'll get a check to see how he is, but he is moving around. Might have had the wind knocked out of him. We'll have to see. But I tell you, a lot of good things right now are happening for Western Washington, though, Robert, because down 27-6, it would be easy for many teams to just kind of turn around and give up. They haven't, and in fact, they've picked up 3 first downs on this drive, as we see. A nice job to see Snyder walking off under his own power.
And it all starts with Darren Erath. He's a fiery player. He is their team leader. He's the man. You know, he's a talented player in many sports, and he's bringing it to the table today. He's not going to give up.
And one thing I think that we've seen out of Western Washington here is the fact that they don't give up, and that's a testament to the fact that, or an example of that anyway, is that in all 3 playoff games to get to the championship today, they came from behind to win those ball games. So they know they're never out of a ball game. They're just going to keep plugging on and get some points on the board.
We are under 2 minutes now, and we are inside the 30. Back to pass, they fake it, and they run deep. They've got a man open. The pass to Nichols is complete. No complete, and no flag on the play. He was bumped. They said, though, it was incidental contact. Both men going for the ball. Probably a good call. The pass a little slow in getting there as Nichols had his man beat. And, Robert, if the pass had gotten there sooner, it was 6 for Western Washington.
Yeah, a little too much touch there. In fact, but you said it, Jeff. Both men were going for the ball. The official was going for the flag, but he thought better and didn't pull it. But he was thinking it.
Here's a look at the replay. They made a nice pump fake that time by Erath. Gets the pass out, and the ball just took too long to get there. And unfortunate for Western Washington, it goes as an incomplete pass. Second down and 10. The ball's still at the 27-yard line. They pitch it to Wiggins out to the right side. Has blockers in front of him. Let's see if he can turn up. He does, but a nice job of pursuing by the outside linebackers, and he's only going to pick up about 4 as he crosses the 25. Panelson in on the stop.
Yeah, it was a slow developing pitch play there, but great pursuit. Outstanding pursuit.
I almost thought that maybe Wiggins might pull up and throw the old halfback pass the way he was kind of waiting to get to the outside there. It kind of seemed to swing it around, but then he turned it upfield a little bit too late, I think.
Yeah, he was doing a little Marcus Allen action, waiting for the crease to develop, taking his time.
Minute 12 now and counting, working our way in toward halftime. The fullback Carr will go in motion and then stop. Back to pass, good protection for Erath. Looking for somebody, though, throws it back up short. It's complete to Nickel. He's going to be close to the first down, and he's knocked out of bounds, and that will stop the clock with 57 seconds to play. And unfortunate for Erath, he didn't see Mario Casillo, who had broken off his route about the 5, was wide open, moving back to the near side.
Yeah, he was wide open, but he was fixed on Chris Nickel. But you have to love the savvy of Darren Erath. You know, like you said, he could be down. He could say, okay, let's go home. We made it to the championship game. He is definitely not giving up and trying to get his team in the end zone.
57 seconds. It is a first down. The ball is now at the 16-yard line. Western Washington looking to try to make something happen. 3 split outs to the left side. They hand the ball to Wiggins up the middle, fights for him, has a blocker. He's going to be getting outside if he can to the 10, and that's as far as he goes. The play just slow. Snyder, the man that was hurt just a few moments ago, back into the ball game and makes the stop. But a timeout is going to be taken by, let's see, I believe Western Washington, as they want to try to regroup and see if they can't get some points on the board. And yes, that's right, Western Washington with the stoppage of play here. But you got to give a lot of credit to continue to work its way out. But what a job of pursuit by Sioux Falls, though, because I tell you, when the play developed, Robert, I thought that Wiggins was going to be able to easily get outside and turn it up. And if he breaks the corner, it's 6.
You know, it looked like the corner was there. It looked like a touchdown. But you have to love the pursuit by USF. They just denied him the corner and stopped the play cold.
Snyder really did a good job on pursuit there. You know, I was watching after that play. He still hobbled a little bit, kind of limping on that ankle that he twisted a couple of plays ago. But he's got the heart of a lion, just went after it, said, hey, if I don't stop this man, it could be 6. So he just went after it and was able to haul Wiggins down.
Well, we talked a lot about the players. Chris Nickel, though, one of the keys in the offense for Western Washington, has just been incredible this year. 6'3", 195-pound senior Chris Nickel has really turned it on, and actually we've seen a couple of nice plays that he's been able to be a part of here in this drive.
You know, I asked the coach to describe Chris Snyder, the man that just made that tackle. Well, you're taking a look at Chris Nickel, the
CFA Offensive Player of the Year.
There you go. Those are heralded stats as well. I was talking with the coach about Chris Snyder. I said, give me one word to describe number 25, and he said, crazy.
Crazy. Crazy. Well, he was smart enough to get up off the field after he was hurt a few moments ago, come back in and make a great play. 2nd down, 4 to go. The ball is at about the 10-yard line. They turn, they're going to roll to the right side and throw the football. Erath with a lot of time. Oh, the hurdle out there and a stop, and holy smokes. What a play out there by Ray Smith, the 6'1", 205-pound senior, was a track star for about 2 seconds as he came out, hurdled, I believe, Ryan Wiggins, and made the sack on the quarterback. If we get a chance to see that one again, what a fantastic play by Smith as he just did it all right there as you get a good look at him coming back across the field. Smith with the probably the most athletic play of the game so far.
Most athletic play, and the coaches call him the toughest player on the squad. And when you play in South Dakota on ice, you've got to be tough.
Watch the hurdle coming up. Jumps right over the player, keeps his feet, and bam, right into the quarterback.
Not only was that a great play, you know, jumping over there and being able to make the hit, but really you got to get a lot of credit to the secondary. You got to, like we said before, those coverage sacks, because and the problem with that play, it all ran to the right-hand side. All the receivers were deep in the end zone on the right-hand side. Everybody clustered together. One defender could cover 2 or 3 guys there. There was nobody open. Everyone was all bunched together, and a great job of the defense covering all those wide receivers.
Well, there are 30 seconds to play. It is 3rd down and 7. And don't forget, the clock will stop on a 1st down. So all they need to pick up is 7 yards, and they'll get the stoppage of the clock. But they have no timeouts. Western Washington, that is, has no timeouts left here in the half.
I would say it's imperative that Western Washington punches it in before the half.
27 to 6, the score. 30 seconds. 7 yards for a 1st down, and they got about 12 for a touchdown. 2 split outs to the left side. Erath drops back the pass. A lot of pressure. The pass is in, and touchdown! Western Washington. Chris Nickel, the 6'3" senior we just showed in the CFA Player of the Year, comes through that time. The slant pattern, and they don't go for 7, they go for 6, and it's a touchdown.
Yeah, that's a TD, no doubt about it. I'll tell you, Chris Nickel, you might be seeing him play in the NFL next season. He is a big-time player, and he showed his wares right on that.
Well, they strike quick after that. Let's take a look at the replay. Nice drop back pass again. Pretty good protection as they work the ball, and a slant throw right across the middle, and Nichols right on the money, knew where the end zone was and fell right across the line.
Good coverage by the defense. Snyder was all over him that time.
The kick is up, and it is good. And so for Western Washington, Gamers puts the ball through the uprights, and what a big momentum, at least to go into the halftime with that score. 25 seconds to play, but now it's back to a 2-touchdown game, Robert. It's 27-13, and another fight-back kind of battle going on right now for Western Washington.
Yeah, it was imperative for them to punch it in, and they did just that. And, Pat, you are correct. Erath put that ball where only Nickel could catch it, and Nickel had the guy bearing down him. He knew he was going to take a shot. He hung on. Touchdown.
14 plays, 64 yards, 4 minutes and 6 seconds, the time of possession. Gamers the kick, the 12-yard touchdown pass, Erath to Nickel, and that's the difference. And I tell you what, now, I can't wait to see the actual halftime stats for time of possession. When we talked yesterday, or actually on Thursday with Western Washington, they wanted to control the ball. They said, if we control the clock, we're going to win this football game. They have controlled the clock in big-time ways. Problem is they turn the ball over deep in their own territory, and it's a one-strike touchdown, a couple of big, long plays. So really, if you look at what's happened, it has been the Riggs and Gardner show. You take away that combo, and Western Washington's right in this football game. They may even be leading.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Dave Rudder's right there as well.
So it's going to be a big thing that Western Washington does to stop the tight end reception and try to keep David Rudder in the backfield to come up. But right now, there's 25 seconds, and for Sioux Falls, as fast as they strike, that's plenty of time to put 6 more on the board.
Yeah, 16 seconds last TD.
35, Gabers.
Gabers to kick off from the 35-yard line, and the wind blows the ball off the tee. Back deep for Sioux Falls is going to be Travis Cramp.
You know, we mentioned that Western Washington, you know, we've been talking about how they like to control the ball. You know, 4:06 was their time of possession on their last drive, but 14 plays. These guys make a lot of plays. They don't just go for the deep strike right away. It's just bang, 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 bang. Just chop it on down the field.
The kick, low, and it's a squib kick. It's going to bounce around, and it's going to be picked up and laid on right there by Mike Swinson at the 25-yard line.
Number 34, Mike.
And so that is where the Sioux Falls Vikings will take over, or Sioux Falls, excuse me, Cougars will take over at the 25-yard line. And
25-yard
they have a couple of options. They can go ahead and lay down on the football and go in with a 2-touchdown halftime lead. But if I know them, they may turn around and try to throw the ball deep.
You know, the stat sheet glares at you right now. 15 first downs for Western Washington to 9 for USF, and the time of possession 20:59 to 8:36. If you were to look at those two stats, you'd think that Western Washington was up.
Stay with us. The Mullen Sports Media halftime will be coming your way in just a moment, as well as the halftime stats from Mullen Sports Media. Right now, we've got the NAIA Division II National Football Championship halfway over, and it's the Sioux Falls Cougars leading the Western Washington Vikings by a score of 27-13. Stay with us. Halftime stats and talking about it coming up next. Don't go away.
All right, guys, we're back. It's halftime. We're with coach of Sioux Falls. It's Bob Young. Talk to me. Good first half for you guys. What do you need to do in the second half to hang on and win?
Well, I think you can see both teams are doing a good job offensively, and I think, you know, it's going to be a matter of we have to figure out ways of continuing to score. We obviously came up with some big plays, a turnover and so forth that helped us, but Western Washington is a long ways from being out of it. I think, you know, they're going to do some adjustments, I'm sure, at halftime that, you know, we have to then counteract to that kind of adjustment. And sometimes that, you know, we're doing things pretty well offensively. I think we, you know, defensively, we've been playing pretty well, pretty consistent. But it's going to be one of those games that you know, you can tell there's a lot of firepower out there.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Let you get back to your team at locker room. Good luck second half.
Thank you.
All righty, thanks a lot, Eric. We've got a lot of great things going on at halftime. Right now, the Hardin County High School Band is on the field. But you heard from Coach Young, and I tell you what now, Robert, he's definitely got to be pleased and happy with what's transpired so far with his ball club.
You know, he has to love, especially they gave up the quick touchdown to go down 6-zip. He has to like that his prolific offense came right back and put up some big points and some big plays.
That has been the key, and I really think Western Washington, they're going to have to come back. I'm wondering what adjustments they're going to make at halftime, but I think what they're going to have to do is just keep going to the air, keep going to nickel, and he's been their big play man so far. Wiggins has not really been able to do much on the field. Seems like the only time that Wiggins gets any yards is when they're expecting a pass play and they run that draw. He's able to sneak one through the middle.
That's exactly right. They're probably looking for nickel to have a big quarter.
he's going to need a big quarter, and I tell you right now, they're going to need a big quarter out of Erath and Wiggins, and there's going to be a few other players that have to have a big quarter. And I tell you right now, part of the big quarter is going to have to come from the defense.
That's exactly right. They're going to have to step up their defensive pressure. They're going to have to find the ways to stop those tight ends across the middle. They've been running, it looks like they've been running around Shiloh National Battlefield all game long. And those big plays to the tight ends have been opening up the offensive runs for Rudder.
That's true. Rudder, he's had a great game. We've talked about Riggs and all the rest of the Sioux Falls guys, but Rudder, he has really come up with some big plays of his own. He's the big back. He's come through, and they haven't been going to him over and over again. He had one series where he had like 3 or 4 plays where he was the key man, but the biggest one was that 16-second drive, that one-play deal where he took the screen pass all the way in for a long score.
All right, we are at halftime. There is the band going on, but right now I believe that Eric is back on the sidelines, and he's found a president, I believe. Eric, you got a president down there with you?
Sure do. We're lucky to have the Western Washington president, Dr. Karen Morris. Welcome to West Tennessee, and tell us about your impressions of the first half with your team.
Well, I had hoped we would be in a better position than we are right now. Sioux Falls is a fine team offensively. We've got to play better defensively. And we've got to come back, and just like we did right at the end of the half. We've been behind before, so we'll just have to go after it.
For the folks who have never visited your school in Bellingham, tell us a little bit about Western Washington.
Western Washington University is a state regional university. It has about 11,200 students. Its campus is in Bellingham, Washington, right on Puget Sound. I can look out and we can see the San Juan Islands. We have very high caliber students and faculty. Our freshman class has an entering average grade point of over 3.5. So we're very proud of our academic program and the fact that these athletes are students first, and then they enjoy athletics as well.
I was told actually before the game that your student athletes actually have about the same grade point average as the student body. You got to be really proud of that.
We are. We have a good graduation rate for our athletes. They have about the same grade point as our student body, and they go to class by themselves. So.
Okay. Well, good luck to your team and your school in the second half, and thank you for being here with us. And we're going to kick this one to a break here on the NAIA National Championship Network. All right, we are back at halftime of this 27-13 game. I am with the president of Sioux Falls University, Dr. Tom Johnson. Great first half for your guys. Talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, it's an exciting first half. We're really happy with the score. Both the offense and the defense have played really well, and they're mixing up their plays. But it's never over until it's over, and we got 30 minutes to go. So they're a tough team, Western Washington is.
You got that right. Let's talk about your school a little bit, the pride of South Dakota, really. And you're here, and here's your chance to tell everybody about.
Well, the University of Sioux Falls is an exciting place. It's a small school. We have about 1,000 students compared to maybe 11,000 for Western Washington, but quality is what counts. We've got a great staff, a great faculty, and a wonderful student body, and a whole bunch of them came down here for the game today, even though it took them traveling all night and staying a couple of days, and just an exciting campus to be a part of. We're glad to be here representing South Dakota and the SDIC.
Of course, a smaller school like yours, that gives a chance for one-on-one work with the teachers to the students. That's got to be a good thing.
That's right. The faculty can spend extra time with the students. The students can always drop into an office and know the faculty member is going to be there. And we try to do special things for the students, take them on trips. The choir and the band are going over to Vienna and Prague in January, spend 2 weeks touring over there, playing their music, singing, and experiencing another culture. And I think that's one of the exciting things about a small college.
Well, thank you very much for being here, and welcome again to West Tennessee and Hardin County. And we're going to kick this one again to a break with the score 27-13 here on the NAIA National Championship Network.
And we are back here at halftime. The statistics that we have, it's kind of interesting because if you look at them in one respect, the time of possession, 9 minutes and 1 second for the University of Sioux Falls, 20 minutes and 59 seconds, almost 21 minutes for Western Washington. You'd think the score might be the other way, but 27-13 because of, look at that, offensive plays and yardage. 258 total offense for Sioux Falls to 190 for Western Washington. Robert, it's the tail of the tape.
you know, it's been said before that the time of possession stat is like almost the most useless stat you can ever even look at. And this case in point, 20:59 to 9. But it only takes 16 seconds for a 16-second touchdown drive.
Well, and one of the big stats, too, Pat, that really glares is that one turnover by Western Washington deep in their own territory, and it resulted in a touchdown for Sioux Falls.
That certainly is. You know, if they don't have that touchdown, then Western Washington is I mean, they're not out of the game, but they're definitely within a little bit closer reach there. And we talked before about these teams, they like to do their thing, and mistakes can be the key, because both these teams are so good at doing all kinds of things. They're so good at running, they're so good at passing, they're so good at defense. It all comes down to the mistakes. Whoever makes the first mistake, the other team can capitalize, and that'll always end up in more points on the board.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, when you get the championship games at any level, I'm talking Pee Wee, high school, university level, it all comes down to who wants the game the most. You know, you get the swarming tackles, you get the gang tackles, and then subsequently you get turnovers. And if you can get points off of those turnovers, time of possession, you just throw that out the window.
One other thing that's kind of interesting, both these teams are playing a very clean game. Both only have 2 penalties, and they're very close as far as yardage that they've lost. Western Washington, they've had 2 penalties for 20 yards, while USF is 2 penalties for only 25 yards. The referees have kept the hankies in the pockets today, Robert.
That's exactly right. In fact, on that nice no call in the end zone, you saw the official think about it. He went for with the right hand, but said, "Nah, let's let the kids play."
Yeah, it was awfully close to the sideline on that play, and he just decided to rule it was a ball that could not have been caught and brought in bounds.
Do you think that was like incidental contact, or do you think that the ball was uncatchable?
No, well, I think both guys were going for it, and the ball was also a little bit out of bounds, so it was pretty much just a, you know, no one was going to catch it deal.
Yeah, well, that was an excellent no call by a very talented officiating crew.
Well, we are at halftime. The score 27-13, and it is the University of Sioux Falls that is in complete command so far. They really have been in complete command. Let's go back down to the field and Eric Waddell.
Thanks a lot, guys. We're with Jerry Hunt of Team Hardin County. Jerry, let's talk a little bit about what Hardin County has done to wake the NAIA welcome here.
Well, this game that these teams are playing in, national championship event, is something those guys are going to remember the rest of their lives. And it's been Team Hardin County's intent to add value to that experience by providing Southern hospitality and a facility in which they'd be proud to play, so that they'll remember this the rest of their lives as a good experience.
Jerry, you guys want to make this a permanent event here, so you're putting out your best foot first, huh?
We're putting out our best foot first, and I think we've done a good job. In an interview this morning, Western Washington mother was asked if she had been provided with Southern hospitality since she had been here, and she said no. I have been treated royally since I've been here. So I think that speaks well for the citizens of Hardin County and the West Tennessee and what they've done to accommodate these teams and fans.
Well, let's talk about some of the things, the things on site. Beautiful new press box. The field is nice, great shape. Talk about what you guys had to do to get the NAIA here.
Well, naturally, we had to do something to uplift and new facelift on this field by the press box, 120-foot press box. We had to add approximately 1,000 new seats, and I think you see they are filled today, and we're very proud to have all of these fans in here today.
Well, we certainly appreciate you being here with us today, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take it back to a commercial as we let you know that the score is Sioux Falls 27-13, and let's go to a commercial.
And we are back. The NAIA Rumble on the River is here at Jim Carroll Stadium in Savannah, Tennessee. And Pat, I tell you what, they talked a little bit when we were listening to about the Team Hardin County about the Southern hospitality. It has been royal hospitality really here so far. The people of Savannah, Tennessee, and the people of Hardin County, the banquet that we had last night that was for the players that they got out, they had a chance to, you know, it's not like two teams that like hate each other's guts that are just in reality out to beat each other up. This is the philosophy of the NAIA, and Robert, you've been around the NAIA for a long time, is about education, it's about teamwork, it's about sportsmanship. And last night at the banquet, when we saw both of these two teams that are fighting so fiercely today on the gridiron sit down side by side, alternating
Oh, that
Sioux
was beautiful.
Falls and Western Washington, and sitting down, eating some ribs together, and having a great time. I tell you, it was nice to see the sportsmanship and the camaraderie and understand the real philosophy and the real push behind what the NAIA stands for, because it's the student athletes first and foremost.
That's exactly right. You know, the hands-on approach by the coaches and the student athlete going first. And I'll tell you something, that's what makes the NAIA so special. In fact, last night, the operative word, what you were saying, were the ribs. Those ribs were outstanding. In fact, Hardin County, when they were bidding to get the NAIA championship game here in Hardin County, they were in negotiations. There were other people involved. So what they did is they FedExed some ribs and sauce to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to the NAIA office. And I guess 2 days later, they called and said, we need to talk.
I tell you what, guys, as we get a shot of us up here in the booth, the ribs were good last night.
Those ribs were good.
And Robert, we are a couple of folks that are experts on ribs, are we
I'll
not?
tell you something. That's right. The rib cage. In fact, you know, I was blessed with the opportunity to call the NAIA national championship game at the Mabee Center between Georgetown and Oklahoma City. In fact, hopefully the NAIA Championship Network will be doing that again this March 24th at the Mabee. And people around the country equate the NAIA with the basketball championship. But this afternoon in Tennessee, they're finding out that these young men in the NAIA can play some hard-nosed football. Let me tell you something. We're in Hardin County, and they're hitting hard. Count on it.
That's exactly right, and we are just about a minute away from the kickoff here of the second half, and as they are out, the captains at the midfield stripe, Sioux Falls will be receiving the ball to start the second half, and so it's a big-time deal for Western Washington, as they're going to have to play defense first.
Both teams coming onto the field now as we're just about ready to wind down things, and we're going to go ahead and toss things down to Eric Waddell down on the sidelines. Eric?
Guys, we were with Lynn Adams, who is, of course, with the NAIA. Let's just talk for a minute about the mission of the NAIA. Why are you an organization?
Well, we're an organization that allows our 400 institutions to compete in intercollegiate athletics, and it gives them an opportunity to do it and also get a good education. And we believe that the student athlete is the most important thing of our association, and we're doing everything we can to make their experience in college a great experience.
Hey, thank you very much. I guess we got to get ready to get back for the second half, but let's kick it back to Jeff in the box.